All right, we ready? Okay.
Sure.
I'd like to call this meeting to order. Our first item of the agenda is our public hearing for general assistance ordinance amendments. Derlin, you want to give us a brief overview of what that's all about?
Yes, sure, John. Every year at this time of year, the State Department of Human Services comes up with new guidelines as far as eligibility, income, and amounts of assistance allowed for GA recipients. And they break it down by county. So what we'll be acting on, and you have to act upon these every year. So what you're acting upon is the recommendations from DHHS for general assistance guidelines, both for income eligibility and amounts of grants that can be awarded depending on household size. So it's something we have to do once a year.
Okay.
Anybody have any questions on that?
No. Any public opinion input? Okay, I would entertain a motion to bring the public hearing to a close.
So moved.
This is Wendy. I'd second that.
Okay, great. Matthew, how do you vote?
Matt Hart votes aye.
Wendy?
Wendy Littlefield votes aye.
Martha?
Martha Dedman votes aye.
And Jeff?
Jeff Wood votes aye.
And John McCauley votes aye. Okay. Post-public hearing. Action if necessary. So we need to adopt this. So I would accept a motion to adopt this.
So moved, Martha Dedman.
Seconded, Wendy Littlefield.
Great. Any further discussion? Martha, how do you vote?
Martha Dedman votes aye.
Wendy, how do you vote?
Wendy Littlefield votes aye.
Jeff, how do you vote?
Jeff Wood votes aye.
Matt?
Matt Hart votes aye.
And John McCauley votes aye. Great. Thank you, everyone. Minutes. Approval of our minutes from September 8 and 10, 2020.
This is Wendy. I'd move approval of both minutes as read, as typed.
As presented. Okay.
Martha Dedman seconds that odd motion.
Okay. Any discussion? Oh. Wendy, how do you vote?
Wendy Littlefield votes aye.
Martha, how do you vote?
Martha Dedman votes aye.
Jeff, how do you vote?
Jeff Wood votes aye.
Matt, how do you vote?
Matt Hart votes aye.
And I vote aye. John McCauley votes aye, I should say. Appointments, recognitions, and resignations. Consideration of the reappointment of Patricia Doherty of the Mount Desert Housing Authority Board of Commissioners as tenant representative, term 10/1/20 to 10/1/24.
This is Matt. I would move reappointment as presented with many thanks.
This is Wendy. I'll second that.
Great. Any further discussion? Okay, Matt, how do you vote?
Matt Hart votes aye.
Wendy, how do you vote?
Wendy Littlefield votes aye.
Martha, how do you vote?
Martha Dedman votes aye.
Jeff, how do you vote?
Jeff Wood votes aye.
And John McCauley votes aye. Consideration of appointment of Carol Plenty as school trustee until the municipal election of 2021.
Martha Dedman moves appointment with thanks for serving.
Jeff Wood will second that.
Okay. Any further discussion? Martha, how do you vote?
Martha Dedman votes aye.
Jeff, how do you vote?
Jeff Wood votes aye.
Wendy, how do you vote?
Wendy Littlefield votes aye.
Matt, how do you vote?
Matt Hart votes aye.
And John McCauley votes aye. Thank you. Consideration of appointment of Carol Plenty as school trustee until the municipal election of 2021.
We just did that one.
Oh, we did. Sorry, consideration of appointment of Juliana Bennick as school trustee until the municipal election of 2021.
This
This
is
is
Wendy.
Matt.
I would move approval with thanks for her for agreeing to serve.
And this is Matt. I would certainly second that.
Okay, Wendy, how do you vote?
Wendy Littlefield votes aye.
Matt?
Matt Hart votes aye.
Martha?
Martha Dedman votes aye.
Jeff?
Jeff Wood votes aye.
And John McCauley votes aye. Item D, Claire Wolfick recertified as a certified clerk of Maine by the Maine Town and City Clerks Association effective 9/15/2020. Congratulations, Claire.
Thank you.
Item E, August 30, 2020, letter from Donald Stern to the Town of Mount Desert Fire Department. Nice job. I heard about that from some guys from Southwest, Mike. Sounds like it could have gone the wrong way.
Yeah, we were lucky this time around. Spotted quickly, and yeah, the guys did a good job. Thank you.
Good job. Resignation of on-call firefighter Andrew Jewett, effective 9/14/2020.
This is Matt. I would move that we regretfully accept Mr. Jewett's resignation and thank him for his service to our community.
This is Wendy. I'd second that.
Great. Any discussion? Okay, and thank you, Andrew, for being with us for so long. Item 6, consent agenda.
I think we need to vote on that, John, right?
Oh, we do. Okay, yeah, sorry. Do I have a motion?
We did. It was moved and seconded.
Oh, jeez.
Matt moved, Wendy seconded.
Okay, Matt, how do you vote?
Matt Hart votes aye.
Wendy?
Wendy Littlefield votes aye.
Martha, how do you vote?
Martha Dedman votes aye.
Jeff?
Jeff Wood votes aye.
And John votes aye. Okay. Consent agenda, Department reports highway, letter from John Klein regarding deer population in town. Hancock County Commissioners meeting minutes of September 1, 2020.
We can move to accept the slate of those. Is that the idea?
Yeah,
I would move that we, one blanket motion. I can move that we accept those reports. Jeff Wood.
And
Martha Dedman seconds it.
okay, any discussion?
I do have one question just in regards to the letter about the deer population. And my concern isn't so much, obviously they're a nuisance when it comes to gardens and things like that, but I probably tend to be more concerned as far as accidents with vehicles goes and deer on the side of the roadway. And actually, turkeys have probably become as big a problem the last couple of years. I didn't know whether anyone had kind of the letter referenced a hunt on the island at one point. I really have no information. I was wondering if anyone just had some background information.
I can tell you that a little bit more, Matt, because I was in high school at the time that was
I thought you were going to say you were a hunter at the time.
No, I was in high school at the time, interestingly enough. That was conducted by Acadia National Park, something you would never see happen these days, I would doubt very much. And they did thin the herd out, and the byproduct of that is all of the school hot lunch programs had venison. I never got so sick of venison in all my life. So I think that would be probably contributing to the fact that I've never been a hunter. So, but that was a long time ago. That would have been about 1962 or 1963.
And Bar Harbor discussed it a few years ago.
Bar Harbor did, I believe, before sometime around 2006 or 7, Mount Desert discussed it as well. I think it actually got onto the warrant.
Yeah.
Point.
Yeah, I actually was on that years ago, that committee, and it was, I think it was brought up mostly because of the Lyme disease numbers had grown so much, and there were lots of thoughts and ideas about ways that we could do something, but everybody had concerns and problems with everything that was suggested as far as doing away with deer.
Yeah, and
Could
if I recall, we even did a mail poll. Didn't we send something out in the mail?
I believe we did, yes.
Yeah.
I was just
And
thinking.
John?
Oh, go
Yes,
ahead,
Tony.
I remember there was a board meeting at the meeting room in Soamesville, and one of the members of the board had an expert come to speak to the group. And when the guy walked through the door, I said to myself, "Oh my God, so-and-so invited Rambo here." So that didn't help matters to get that thing approved either.
I was
Well-
just thinking that, if we were to explore the idea, and I'm not suggesting we do, but it would probably be beneficial to do it. Deer aren't familiar with where the town lines are. So if we were going to do something, it would be beneficial to have the other communities on board as well. And it just struck me that this is usually about the time of the year we have our League of Towns meeting that Derlin gets to run. So my guess is we won't have that this year, but if there's a way to see what the other towns, if they have residents who've spoken up about it, that might be interesting.
Matt, we're going to discuss at League of Towns next week a way if we can do that meeting remotely, so at least
Okay.
we have a chance for people to check in. So we're hoping to have, it won't be in the fun format that it's been in the past years, but we're hoping to have some sort of a League of Town elected officials conflab. So I'll get you more information on that after next week when we actually do have that. So,
Okay, thank you.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I know we have discussed it at League of Town meetings before, and Bar Harbor was gun shy again because they went through it in Tremont. They didn't get too far. I think Swans Island has been the only member of the League of Towns, to my knowledge, has been actually able to do it.
The Cranberry Isles also did it.
Anybody else, those two members, the offshore islands, yeah.
Yeah.
Those two actually have had a thinning.
Yeah, and
And supposedly
couple
the
lot.
drought has led supposedly to a decrease in the spread of the ticks carrying the disease. So I hope there's some truth to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but I will keep you posted, and yes, that's something that you may want to talk about, whatever format we get for the elected officials. We're hoping to have something, probably be Zoom, and figure out time and everything.
Yeah, we've been dealing with this off and on for years and years and years.
Yeah.
I shudder to think of a couple of guys in camo wandering around Northeast Harbor with compound bows.
Should someone reply to him, just sort of thanking him for his letter and that, we understand his,
I'd be happy to do that on your
I just-
behalf.
okay. I just feel like it's nice to acknowledge that he took the time and that we
Yeah.
took the time to discuss it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
can
think
make
so.
something, and I can mention that you would discuss that perhaps a joint effort on the island as a whole would be something worth discussing, and that we're planning on doing that in some sort of a forum going forward. So,
Yeah, I
I'd be
think
happy to do that.
that makes a lot more sense island-wide than trying to do something alone.
Yep, I'll make a note, I should do that.
Well, and I would emphasize that the primary focus of this body ought to be, like Matt said, the potential danger of loss of life in car accidents and the potential danger of illness due to Lyme disease, rather than the protection of private gardens. But
That's right.
Mm.
That's a hard sell.
Yeah, I agree.
My wife hates them. They eat all her flowers, but
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to justify our efforts.
And John,
Yeah.
the high numbers of the deer population directly proportional to the coyote population on the island as well. Out where I am in Soamesville, there's a couple of, there must be good sized packs because they are loud and they travel quite a bit.
Really loud lately.
Yeah, I
Oh, yeah.
agree. I can hear them at my house from the golf course on a regular
Yeah.
basis. So that's a creepy thought too. And turkey,
Yeah,
I agree,
yeah.
Matt. I have to stop for the turkey every day to work.
Yeah, unfortunately, coyotes are more likely to eat turkey than deer.
Not necessarily.
Well, coyotes need a pack to bring a deer down, mostly. And actually, their biggest food stuff is the mouse. small animals.
Are you, is this Professor Farley Mowat?
No, this is actually a disappointment because I thought that if I had coyotes in my backyard, my plants would be safe, and that isn't the case at all. So anyway. All right, so we have a motion and a second, and any further discussion here? Okay, hearing none. Martha, how do you vote?
Martha Dedman votes aye.
Wendy, how do you vote?
Wendy Littlefield votes aye.
Jeff, how do you vote?
Jeff Wood votes aye.
Matt, how do you vote?
Matt Hart votes aye.
And John McCauley votes aye. All right, selectmen's reports. Any selectmen's reports?
I had a question. I don't know if that counts as a report, but I just happened to walk down to the landing the other day and noticed that there's a different number of crosswalks in Soamesville than there once were, and I don't know if that's by design or what. I know that there used to be one at the old schoolhouse, which seemed pointless, but the one at the landing, I don't understand. Maybe.
I can take that, John.
Okay.
That was 2-3 years ago, Jeff, we had DOT come in
Yeah.
and inspect all of our crosswalks. And the two that you mentioned didn't pass muster. The sight distance was terrible for both of them, and they were deemed to be extremely dangerous in those
Oh.
locations. They had,
So crossing without.
based on an average reaction time when a person crests the hill in front of Foster's building to get to the brake pedal and everything. If somebody's standing in the crosswalk, the cars didn't have time to stop. And a crosswalk subliminally tells people, oh, this is a great safe place to walk. I can cross here and take my time.
Okay.
If we put that back, we face tremendous, and others, we face tremendous liability.
Interesting. Okay. Thank you. Now we just cross there without a crosswalk.
Correct.
Okay.
But you have your choice of other places along
Yeah,
there
I
as well.
understand. All right. Thank you.
Without crosswalk.
All right, any other selectmen's reports? Any unfinished business? None presented? New business, authorization of carryovers from fiscal year 2019-2020 to fiscal year 2020-2021 in the amount of $119,989.67 per the carryover memo in your packets, detailed schedule and public works memo.
I move approval.
This is Wendy. I second that.
Great, any further discussion? Okay, Wendy, Martha, how do you vote?
Martha Dedman votes aye.
Wendy, how do you vote?
Wendy Littlefield votes aye.
Jeff, how do you vote?
Jeff Wood votes aye.
Matt, how do you vote?
Matt Hart votes aye.
And John McCauley votes aye. Item B, consideration of replacing the language on approximately 24 existing wayfinding signs in Northeast Harbor with new replacement faces to be furnished and installed by Neocraft Signs, the original manufacturer of the signs, to make the signs more informative for the public at a total cost of $6,208.54, with the Chamber of Commerce paying for $2,200 of the total and the town paying the remaining balance of $4,008.54 using funds from the Public Works Roads Reserve account 4050100-24573, which has $6,224.18 in it, left from the amount approved for the original wayfinding sign project.
John,
Yes.
I would defer to Mickey Sumter,
Okay.
if Mickey's on the line, to just give a brief history and what she was thinking, what we were thinking.
I don't see Mickey
I
on here.
don't see Mickey here.
She was on a minute ago and then disappeared.
Oh, okay.
I have a couple questions about this. I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't particularly care for shopping over Village to begin with, and I'm just confused about the level of promotion that the town is taking on a sort of an official level to promote private business. I guess it's been an ongoing question, and I'll continue to learn more about. But I mean, the Chamber of Commerce, that $2,200 that they're contributing to this comes from the town's contribution to their operation costs, according to their request. So it's all town money. And I mean, and then there's, in the warrant article later, there's $7,000 worth of plexiglass at the Visitor Center. And the building itself is $1 a year. I'm a little confused as to, how that benefits the town as a whole to that degree. And just.
All right, if John, if I may, in Mickey's absence.
I'm right here.
There's
I'm right
Mickey.
here.
Oh, okay. Did you hear Jeff's comments, Mickey?
No, I didn't.
I think he's wondering why we're putting so much focus on Northeast Harbor's businesses and promoting the businesses using town funds. And what I'd like to say, Mick, before you get started, is the wayfinding sign project. The original one was to help improve the business climate on Main Street. The Main Street project, the $3 million project we're doing, helping improve the business climate on Main Street is a big piece of that. MD 365 is working along those lines to help enhance business on Main Street, to fill in some of the vacant lots that were lost during fires. I believe it was thought that you have to spend some to make some. And I met with Mickey. She had met with Darlin. That's where, as I understand it, the Chamber's contribution of $2,200 came from. And as Mickey explained to me, then the town would pay the difference. But this is to enhance.
Let me explain. Okay, let me explain to you. When I agree, you can't always look at, point just to Northeast Harbor. And I'm the first one to tell you that. You have to look at the whole town. And that's what I've been trying to do. But you already had the wayfinding signs. And what it says is village district. What's problematic with that is it doesn't say anything about shopping or when you have places for motels, et cetera, et cetera. So what it's not marketing what you tried to market when you bought those signs. And so I brought this up because some of the town businesses asked me about it, because a lot of people don't know what village district means. And I've had that experience in the last 2 summers working down there. They said, oh, you have a place to shop? We just thought it was all residential. So that's how this got started. And I asked Tony and Derlin for some help. And I noticed that Derlin asked us to pay $2,200 out of our allocation, and we were fine with that. So that's how that all started. But if you all feel that it's fine the way it is, I'm just asking for this. But Tony has done a lot of research for me on it.
And if I could just touch on the plexiglass down at the visitor center, and that we get $1 a year from that. We're the landlord, and we're essentially helping take care of the tenant that's renting our building.
Well, I think the plexiglass is you own the building, but the plexiglass is to provide that the tourists can come in safely. If you didn't want tourists there,
Yeah, if you didn't all of that, I'm not arguing that we shouldn't have, an organization such as the Chamber of Commerce to support local businesses. What my question is, and what my confusion is the level to which the town promotes and supports the chamber in its effort to promote the businesses, and that's fairly unusual. And that's all. And just the level to which the town is funding the Chamber of Commerce, and and understanding that the health and vitality of any village district is important, but that isn't the primary purpose in my mind of of this body or the town government. That's all. I'm learning, but I have to ask the question because I do not get.
No, I'm glad you do. I'm glad you do.
And over,
Jeff,
over,
Can
over
I
the
say
years-
something? Can I say something, please?
Matt, Martha.
Jeff, those are good questions, and it's been an ongoing conversation for probably about 20 years now, as people in the various villages of our town have grappled with how we can keep our community a viable year-round community with businesses that can survive in perilous times with a shrinking population. And we've had a lot of conversations, a lot of meetings, and a lot of false starts and some good progress, but it's been slow going. And years ago, the town hired someone to serve as a consultant to help us figure out what to do. And we had a lot of public meetings, we had a lot of conversation, and we made some good strides. It became apparent, especially with the onset of the MD 365 and an opportunity for the chamber to take on more of these duties themselves, that the town needed to support their efforts rather than try and do it all ourselves. And I was personally delighted when the chamber stepped up, hired Mickey, someone I've known a long time who's very capable, and she's trying to make sense of this. They can't do it alone. We're just trying to make some progress so that our community and our little villages can survive.
Yeah, and I'd like to add, and I agree with Jeff actually on many of those points. But you know, we don't have a lot of businesses, so we don't have a robust chamber of commerce with a big budget. So we really do have to step in and help them out a little bit here.
Excuse me, but I also want to say on the signage, I think, you know, we put up these signs a few years ago, and I think that they need to be tweaked. They were, you know, they were done, what was it, 5-6 years ago, something like that, longer maybe. And it's time for an update. I think it's a good idea, and I support it.
I would just
Thank you,
sort of
Mark.
echo, I mean, I agree with everyone to some extent. I do remember, though, it's so funny, the ebbs and flows of everything. And I remember, this would have been like 6 or 7 years ago in some of those very early economic development meetings. There was a sense, at least to me, that people wanted the town to, the phrase that I know was used over and over again was have some skin in the game. And so I think that it's why the town has been involved. And I'm not exactly sure, I don't remember exactly, but wasn't at least a portion of this initial signage project paid for with private funds? Was there some fundraising for that?
No,
No.
no.
Was okay. What I do remember accurately about that signage project, though, is the firestorm it created. And I miss those simple times, I have to be honest with you right now. And, you know, the experts told us at that point, you know, people would say, well, those signs, they stick out like a sore thumb. And the experts would say, they're supposed to, because they're not for you. They're for people who are lost or looking how to get somewhere. They need to stick out. And then, you know, we're never going to be able to see beyond them. I remember someone said, oh, they're going to ruin the views. Do we even notice them anymore if you live here? Not really.
Right.
I would say that, you know, it seems like we've got, I mean, I guess we could argue about how it gets paid for or who pays for it, but to me, there is a untapped opportunity to at least utilize the back of the signs. And I do know that the company that created them, it does make sense to go with them because they would have all the information on file, the fonts, colors, all that stuff. So it'd be quick for them, probably a quick turnaround time compared to using someone else.
John?
Yes.
There was a committee. I sat on it as a quote advisor during the design and selection process for these signs. And I agree with what Matt said. I think the existing signs are plain. And if you live here, I don't see them any more than I do telephone poles.
Yeah.
But if you're from away, you're looking for signs, and I like them. They are obvious, but they don't jump right out and grab you.
Yeah, my only thing is, and this is a minor thing, and I hate wordsmithing because I think it burns a lot of time, but maybe something besides shopping center would be more appropriate for a village.
It's shopping, it'll be shopping district.
Oh, okay.
Yes, yes. No, we're not trying to or Mick wasn't trying to advertise a Walmart or a good-sized mall.
And I was
It's
going
a
to say,
shopping district.
it's like calling Bangor International Airport a spaceport, but
Mickey, I had one question.
Yes.
So these signs, there won't be any individual businesses listed.
No.
No,
And on the kiosks, I think there are, what, 2 of them in town. Those are chamber members that pay to get their names listed on those, right? And they're replaced periodically?
No. You mean those 2 little, one at the marina and one uptown?
Yeah.
Are those? I have to tell you, that was told to me when I came, that we paid for the updates, and we do every year. But that isn't that the chamber members pay for that. Whoever's up on Main Street are in there.
Right.
Okay.
That was
But
the
I mean-
town. That was done with the town, and then we took over the updating every year and
Okay.
paying for it.
Okay.
That's my understanding. Maybe somebody else has.
No, I
But
think
we
you're
don't-
right,
I think-
Mickey. That used to come
It's
out.
not just membership.
I think that's right, Mickey. We used to come out of the economic development budget to the updates,
Right.
and then we turned it all over to the chamber.
Okay, because we try to get everybody on those signs.
Just a point of, in the memo that we're, in our packet, it says specifically it's changing the word village center to shopping center.
No, it's village, it's shopping district.
Okay.
Did I do that? No, it's shopping district.
Yeah.
I mean, I still am reluctant to.
Oh, yeah, it does say center, yeah.
Yeah, it's district.
Yep, that's a typo on my part.
I would move.
And what they do is,
I would move approval of this proposal with the change from shopping center to shopping district.
that's my typo.
And Tony, I didn't catch it, sorry.
This is Matt. I will second that motion.
all right. Do we have any more discussion on this? Okay, Martha.
Somebody have a question?
Yeah?
I thought somebody said Tony, I didn't catch that.
Oh. Okay,
But
Martha.
I had said, what, that was a typo of mine.
Martha, how do you vote?
Martha Dudman votes aye.
Wendy, how do you vote?
Wendy Littlefield votes aye.
Jeff, how do you vote?
I'm going to vote no. Jeff Wood.
Matt, how do you vote?
Matt Hart votes aye.
And John McCauley's going to vote aye. Thank you, everyone. Authorization.
Thank you.
Authorization to use the $15,000 in the historical preservation budget account number 1220220-57800, which has a balance of $15,000 to pay for preservation services from co-file. Claire, this is the group we've been using?
Yes, it is. I think we've used them about 30 years.
Yep.
Martha Dudman moves approval.
Jeff Wood seconds.
Good. Any further discussion? Martha, how do you vote?
Martha Dudman votes aye.
Jeff, how do you vote?
Jeff Wood votes aye.
Wendy, how do you vote?
Wendy Littlefield votes aye.
Matt, how do you vote?
Matt Hart votes aye.
And John McCauley votes aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other business? Okay, time for the treasurer's warrants. Warrants to be approved and signed. Town invoice AP 2114 in the amount of $5,578,849.96. Wow.
I
This
think
is
most of-
Wendy.
Go ahead.
I was going to move approval.
I think the reason that was so large is like all of our checks got cut for all the things that we went through in July.
Yeah.
That's, anyway. Jeff will second that.
John, it's that and moving $4 million out of the general fund checking into investment.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Wendy, how do you vote?
Wendy Littlefield votes aye.
Jeff, how do you vote?
Jeff Wood votes aye.
Martha, how do you vote?
Martha Dudman votes aye.
Matt, how do you vote?
Matt Hart votes aye.
And John McCauley votes aye. Authorized warrants to be signed, AP 2113 in the amount of $23,124.40. Town payroll PR 2106 in the amount of $118,352.43.
Martha Dudman votes signature.
Matt Hart will second that.
Martha, how do you vote?
Martha Dudman votes aye.
Matt, how do you vote?
Matt Hart votes aye.
Wendy, how do you vote?
Wendy Littlefield abstains.
Jeff, how do you vote?
Jeff Wood votes aye.
And John McCauley votes aye. Warrants to be acknowledged, school invoice, none. School payroll, number 6, in the amount of $80,528.03.
Matt Hart moves acknowledgement.
Martha Dudman seconds.
Hey, Matt, how do you vote?
Aye.
Martha, how do you vote?
Aye.
Martha is what I meant, not Martha. Wendy, how do you vote?
I'm actually, Wendy Littlefield's going to abstain from this one too, because my daughter is now on the payroll.
Okay. Jeff, how do you vote?
Jeff Wood votes aye.
And John McCauley votes aye. Great, thank you, everyone. I'll entertain a motion for,
Before you adjourn, to remind you that when you're in the neighborhood, we will need the general assistance ordinance signed, but it's no rush. You don't have to make a special trip. When you come in, that would be great.
Okay,
do I have a motion for adjournment?
so moved.
Seconded.
Second.
Martha, how do you vote?
Martha Dudman votes aye.
Wendy, how do you vote?
Wendy Littlefield votes aye.
Matt, how do you vote?
Matt Hart votes aye.
Jeff, how do you vote?
Jeff Wood votes aye.
And John McCauley votes aye. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.